Hello fantasy managers, and welcome back for another video. My name's Jack, and today we're going to discuss a wildcard template for Matchday 2, as I know a lot of you guys are going to be using this chip, as are we. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the World Cup fantasy related content, and also click that notification bell to stay up to date with all of our recent uploads. As always, check out our second channel, FPLflare. We've been posting World Cup and football related content over there, so check that out via the link in the description. And with that being said, let's jump into the video. So just quickly, this is our first wildcard template. It is quite a good team. I am pretty happy with how the 15-man squad does look, but of course there are still matches to go in Matchday 1, so there definitely is the possibility of changes to this squad once we do activate our wildcard for Matchday 2. But for now, I am very happy with this team, and I would not be surprised if there is no changes made to this team ahead of Matchday 2. So with that in mind, let's have a look at the side. As the goalkeeper, we have gone with Edouard Mendy. He's got two good fixtures coming up. Obviously, after playing Netherlands in Senegal's first match day, they have two good opponents, or good fixtures, coming up in Ecuador and Qatar. Qatar is their next opponent, and we saw Qatar not provide too much from an attacking perspective against Ecuador in the World Cup opener. Obviously, since Ecuador got the clean sheet in this one, I do think Senegal could repeat the trick as well. And as far as our good fixtures go in the next two match days, I think Senegal have some of the best. Mendy, of course, a good starting option for Senegal. He should not only get the clean sheets, but maybe pick up a couple of save bonus there as well, as I would definitely be expecting at least one clean sheet for Senegal in the next two matches, and that's why I've gone with Mendy in goals, especially to target that Matchday 2 fixture of Qatar, who probably looks like one of the worst attacks out of all of the games so far that I've watched in the World Cup, and that's why I've gone with Mendy. Having a look at the defenders now, at the moment it is listed as a 4-back, but of course, as you know, these players will be swapped around based on the days they play throughout the match day. So let's have a look at the starting 4 at the minute. Going with Thomas Meunier as the first pick. He's coming in at £6 million, the same price as João Cancelo, and he is one of the changes that we've made to the squad. Belgium have an absolutely superb fixture of Morocco in Matchday 2, and I would definitely be expecting Belgium to keep a clean sheet. Obviously, Belgium at the time of recording, a side that hasn't played so far in the World Cup, but I do fancy them in their Matchday 1 game against Canada, and of course Morocco on Matchday 2, another good chance for Belgium to get a clean sheet there. Thomas Meunier also quite an attacking fullback for Belgium, as in 4 matches throughout the World Cup qualifiers he was able to provide 2 assists, obviously averaging half a score involvement, or 0.5 score involvements per match, which is quite a good return amongst defenders. So definitely one with good points potential at both ends of the pitch, and a player that if you're looking to target those Matchday 2 fixtures is definitely one to consider in the defence. Denzel Dumfries does remain in the side. He's also coming in at £6 million for Netherlands, and of course we did touch on him on the players to buy video that we made yesterday. And since Denzel Dumfries is coming off that clean sheet in Matchday 1, I fancy Netherlands for another clean sheet in Matchday 2 against a slightly easier opponent, in Ecuador compared to Senegal in Matchday 1. So hopefully Dumfries can provide another clean sheet here, and as always with him, he has good attacking potential, and he has shown this in the World Cup qualifiers as well, producing a goal and an assist for Netherlands throughout the qualifiers. So if he can pair a clean sheet but the potential attacking return in this one, I'm sure Dumfries will be on some very good points. He also has 2 good fixtures coming up as well, obviously after versing Senegal as Netherlands' first opponent in their group stage. After Ecuador, they do have Qatar as well, so 2 very good fixtures coming up, and that is why Denzel Dumfries does remain in the team. Kieran Trippier here does remain in the side as well. Obviously, England couldn't get the clean sheet in Matchday 1, conceding 2 goals to Iran. But with the easier fixtures, or just as easy fixtures, I would say, of USA and Wales, I would expect England to be getting at least 1 clean sheet in the next 2 fixtures. We did see Kieran Trippier get quite far up the pitch as well, and he was on a few set pieces, whether that's corners or some free kicks. So I definitely really like Trippier, as he does offer good potential at both ends of the pitch. We've seen how good he has been on those corners and free kicks for Newcastle throughout the Premier League. So if he can recreate or continue this form for England, I'm sure he's going to be on for some assists throughout the tournament and maybe a cheeky free kick goal there as well. But the main reason he's in the side, a £5 million starting defender with USA and Wales as his next two fixtures, playing in a very good England defence. I do like him for some points across the next two match days. And at this current stage, Joachim Mail does remain as the starter here for the squad. Obviously, he does have France, so most likely he's going to be dropping to the bench, obviously just depending on what day he plays, but we do have a couple of good defensive backups there to step in instead of Joachim Mail. But the main reason I do have him in the side is looking ahead to the matchday 3 fixture where Denmark do face Australia. Australia actually did score against France just earlier today, but I do think that Denmark defence should hold up quite well and potentially get a clean sheet against Australia in matchday 3. Obviously, they did get a clean sheet in matchday 1 as well, so clearly a fairly decent defence. And Joachim Mailer does get further up the pitch as well, put in a lot of good crosses actually in his matchday 1 game. Perhaps slightly unlucky not to have an assist in this one, so I do really like him at £4.5 million. Looking towards the midfielders now, Kevin De Bruyne does remain in the squad. He is unchanged. As we touched on with Thomas Meunier, Belgium are still yet to play in matchday 1, but with Morocco as their fixture in matchday 2, I really like Kevin De Bruyne as that premium midfielder in this matchday, as I would definitely expect him to get amongst the goals and assists. He has been pretty good for Belgium as well throughout the World Cup qualifiers, and of course for Man City we've seen how good he's been this season, providing both goals and assists for his club. Moving on to Bukayo Saka, a player that has made a great start to the tournament and actually steps in place of Harry Kane on the side to tick off that England attack, as obviously England did put 6 past Iran in matchday 1, so clearly a very strong attacking outfit, and Saka is getting quite involved, getting himself involved in 3 out of the 6 England goals, with 2 goals and 1 assist in matchday 1, and as we touched on with Kieran Trippier, with USA and Wales as the next 2 fixtures, a great opportunity to jump on those England assets, as they have made a good start to the tournament, and I can see England continuing to score goals. Saka, he was a slight question whether he's going to get the start in matchday 1, but after a great performance in this matchday, I'm sure he will be getting 2 consecutive starts in matchdays 2 and 3 under Gareth Southgate. Also, as far as £8 million midfielders go, I don't see there being too many better options in the game right now. We'll have to see how a couple of the other midfielders fare in the remaining games of matchday 1, but at this current stage, I really like Bukayo Saka, so that's why he's in the side. And looking at the third starting midfielder here, it is Klaassen from the Netherlands. He played a very good game of matchday 1, was able to get himself a goal, and he does seem to play that box-to-box role quite well, obviously being a midfielder as well, got the extra point for the clean sheet, picking up 7 points in matchday 1. And as we touched on with Denzel Dumfries, facing Ecuador and Qatar as his next 2 fixtures provides him a great opportunity to continue those goals and assists. We saw Moving on to Klaassen as the third starting midfielder, I really like him at £6 million. I think he could prove to be a great value player as well. He was able to provide 7 points for his owners in matchday 1. He got himself a goal and also got that extra clean sheet point, as of course he is positioned as a midfielder. He's in a similar boat to Denzel Dumfries in the fact that he's got 2 great fixtures coming up in Ecuador and Qatar, and for a very good box-to-box player, I really like him with the next 2 fixtures. And also we've seen Gini Wijnaldum play this box-to-box role quite well for Netherlands in the past. We saw it in the 2020 Euros, and Wijnaldum was able to get himself quite a few attacking involvements. I think Klaassen could recreate this here. He did have a lot of touches in the opposition box in matchday 1, did also have one of the highest expected goals figures out of any player so far in matchday 1, so potentially a nice pick, which could be a good differential as well at just £6 million with 2 very good fixtures coming up in Ecuador and Qatar. And with that in mind, let's have a look at the 3 forwards here. Unsurprisingly, Messi does remain in the team. Definitely unlucky not to have even more points than he did in matchday 1, coming off 6 points there against Saudi Arabia. Was a bit unlucky with his disallowed goal, was just offside, so definitely could have had even more points, but he's got a great fixture of Mexico in matchday 2, and I do expect Argentina to continue providing those chances, as they were quite unfortunate only to have that one goal in their defeat to Saudi Arabia, obviously having 3 or 4 disallowed goals with offside. So definitely a side that is creating plenty of opportunities, and Messi, of course, on penalties, on free kicks as well, will be in the focal point of their attack. Neymar Jr., another player that is yet to play in matchday 1, but I really like for matchday 2, as Switzerland is his opponent. I don't think this Swiss side is as strong as it was previously in other international tournaments, so I do think Neymar could be a nice pick for Brazil. Another one that is in the side at the moment, but we'll have to see how he fares for Brazil in matchday 1 before we decide on that final team, whether he is in the squad or we just look for another premium forward, whether that's Harry Kane potentially as well. He did provide 7 points. We'll have to see whether he can return in time for England for matchday 2. But at this current stage, very happy with Neymar there at £10.5 million, slightly cheaper than the likes of Kane and Mbappe, and should hopefully match them for points across the group stage. So with Switzerland as his matchday 2 opponent, very happy to have Neymar in the side, and a decent captaincy contender as well, if we're looking to swap it off Messi if he can't provide any returns. And as the third forward, we hyped him up in the players to buy video yesterday, and I really like him. It's Mehdi Taremi from Iran. He is one of the highest scoring players in the game at the moment with 11 points for Iran. He got himself 2 goals against England in matchday 1, and the fixtures only get easier for Iran, with Wales and USA as the next 2 fixtures. Clearly not the strongest defences in the World Cup. Taremi also did have one of the highest expected goals figures of 1 amongst all players so far in matchday 1. He is getting into some good areas for Iran, the main focal point of their attack, and he did get some good chances in this England match, despite England's defence being quite solid. Did have a couple of close range chances which he put wide as well, so could have even had more goals in this game. Also, a thing to note with Taremi, he's been an absolutely superb form for Porto this season, averaging nearly a score involvement per game in the Portuguese league, and he also has backed this up in the Champions League as well, as in 5 group stage matches in the Champions League he has provided 5 goals for Porto. So definitely a player that's been in great form. He's already carried it over to Iran in the World Cup with 2 goals in his first match. So I definitely fancy him for some more attacking returns in his next 2 fixtures. With that being said, let's have a look at the bench. Roche, I believe it's pronounced, or Roche from Uruguay. He's got Portugal as his fixture. He's going to be coming in at £4 million, one of the cheapest players in this squad. Hopefully he does get starting minutes for Uruguay. We haven't seen Uruguay play at the time of recording it in matchday 1, but as far as 4.0 keepers go, I do think he is one of the better picks if you want to capitalise on a fairly strong Uruguay defence, just based on how they were going in the World Cup qualifiers and recent international fixtures that have recorded quite a few clean sheets recently. Moving on to another 4.0 option, Matty Cash looks to be a great value player to have in World Cup Fantasy. He was able to record 6 points in matchday 1 for Poland, as they were able to record a clean sheet against a fairly decent Mexico side. So I'm hoping with a slightly easier fixture of Saudi Arabia, obviously since they are one of the lower ranked teams in the World Cup based on the FIFA World Rankings, I would be hopeful of a Poland clean sheet in this one. And since, of course, Matty Cash is starting in that Poland defence at just £4 million, he's always a good player that can step in for the likes of Joachim Meile if he can't record that clean sheet against France. And of course, this will just depend on what day people play on. But I really like Cash at 4.0, one of the best value starting defenders, in my opinion, in World Cup Fantasy. Moving on, we have gone with another sort of box-to-box midfielder in Rabiot. Watching that Australia game this morning, he did have quite a few touches in the opposition box and wasn't afraid to get forward. He was able to provide a goal and an assist for his side. He's arriving in the box for crosses, got himself a header goal, and he also provided an assist with a cross too. So I really like him getting into some good positions, and at £6.5 million is another very strong player. to make the squad a little bit more well-rounded. Of course, it's good to have stronger players on the bench as well, as you can make manual substitutions throughout the match days. So I do really like Rabiot. The fixture of Denmark definitely isn't the easiest. Denmark's defense is quite strong, but that France attack is quite prolific as well. We saw them put 4 goals past Australia with ease. So I am hoping if Rabiot can continue to get into the box, present himself as a good attacking threat, I'm sure he can continue some good point scoring across the next 2 fixtures in his group. And then rounding out the bench, it is Abdulaziz Satima. He remains in the side at £4 million, a starting midfielder for Qatar. He's just there to increase the amount of starting players we have in the squad while not having to spend too much money on him. Of course, just depending on what day he does play, he can always step in for a player that blanks as well. So just a nice piece of bench fodder there. So overall, very, very happy with this side. Quickly looking at the squad value, it is coming in at exactly £100 million. So it should be affordable for most people, and there is 0.0 of course left in the bank. I do really like this team. I think it's a quite well-rounded squad, and it's a great way to capitalize on players that have been in good form so far, whilst also looking ahead to the fixtures in match day 2 and 3. As I said earlier, it is key to note that there could be some changes to this team. Once we do release our team selection video, we will show you guys these changes, if any are made. But this is currently the wildcard template, a wildcard draft that we're going with at the moment. So of course, let us know what you think, but I am pretty happy with this side at the minute. Thanks for watching today's wildcard template for matchday 2 of World Cup Fantasy. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you are liking the World Cup Fantasy related content, leave a like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell to stay up to date with all of our recent uploads. As always, check out our second channel, FPLflare. We've been posting World Cup and football related content over there. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.